All right, I want to continue with unemployment. We know the unemployment rate is the number of unemployed people or people who are looking for work divided by the total labor force. Right? And this is a hugely critical number and evaluate our economy, how things are doing. Right now we're at 6.3%, which is pretty high. As we talked about in class, you know, probably should be more like 7%, but there's a lot of discouraged workers who have dropped out of the labor force, which has artificially lowered the number. We're going to talk about the three different types of unemployment. You'll notice I only have two on the board first. So I want you to think these two together, and then the third one is a separate one. Spoiler alert, it's cyclical unemployment. The first two types of unemployment, the economy is cruel. And the president and Congress kind of sort of don't care if you are unemployed for these reasons. It's not their job to babysit the economy and make sure that your job is safe under any circumstances. All right? So these are just types of unemployment that are expected, and they just happen. And that's why we call them natural unemployment, and we'll get into that a little bit. There's frictional unemployment, which I just call everyday reasons that people don't have a job. I got fired, I walked out of my office and quit, and now I can't find another job. I moved to San Francisco because I wanted to live in the Bay Area and I can't find a job. The company that I was working for had 20 people and they figured they could just, have two people let go, because they weren't necessary anymore. They could earn more profits. The government doesn't care, okay? It's the market system, free will, etc. I just graduated from college and I can't find a job. I moved, whatever it might be. These are just frictional unemployment, maybe just personal reasons why people are unemployed. The economy doesn't care about you. It doesn't care that you don't like your boss. It doesn't care that you want to live in Hawaii. It doesn't care that your company decided they could make more profits without you. Okay? That's pretty easy to understand. The second one's a little bit more complex to understand. It's when your skills are no longer needed. So structural unemployment means the economy is changing or evolving and your skills aren't needed for whatever reason. Maybe you're replaced by technology or the industry itself is dying. So let's say, when the phone didn't work back in the day, when you reached up and just talked on the phone and tried to get private by extending the wire as far as you could. Technology was when you could take the phone and there was no cord attached to it. And you try to get as far away from it as you could. Anyway, there was a guy who would come to your house and he would mess with the phone and fix it, and that was the landline repair guy. I don't even know if there's such a thing anymore. I'm guessing there probably is. I don't even have a landline. I haven't had one for probably 12 years, okay? Again, the economy doesn't care. The economy is Apple products make up 5% of our economy, which is a lot more valuable than landline phone repair guy, okay? Magazines. Does anybody get a magazine anymore? Probably. Maybe Sports Illustrated, probably not. Every Thursday was a race to the mailbox when we got home from school to get the Sports Illustrated. Now, just put on the ESPN app on your phone, right? Video manufacturers, uh-oh. Although Blockbuster stock is gonna skyrocket because everybody's gonna go back to the VCR. DVD players, etc. Let's say, back in the day, horses was a primary way to get around. So people that rode the horse and buggies, you fix the wheels on the horse and buggies. There's a whole industry evolved around that. The automobile came and replaced it. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but even if there are magazines that still exist, right? But people that work for printing companies, the Kodak film industry, right? Kodak was one of the biggest companies in the world. And now, to be honest with you, I don't even know what they do, okay? Again, we talked about Blockbuster, anything that's related to an evolving economy. And also, like, if you work in a factory and you screwed things in or whatever, and now you're replaced by machinery, robotics that does it automatically, that's structurally unemployed. Okay, your job has been replaced. And again, the economy doesn't care. Okay, so one of the industries that we're expecting to be structurally unemployed is the oil industry as we evolve into electric vehicles, better for the environment, etc. Do people that get structurally unemployed like it? Absolutely not. Joe Biden had to backtrack his whole, stance on fracking out of fear of losing votes in Pennsylvania because of this reaction to people being structurally unemployed. There is the distinct possibility in 30 years that we may not have truck drivers because it'll be all automated vehicles. Tesla had a delivery, I believe it was Tesla, a truck. They did have a driver there, but I think it went from San Francisco to Denver, Colorado, which is not an easy drive. And it delivered beer. See? The guy behind the wheel could actually be drinking. I never said that, right? But it's an automated vehicle, okay? The truck drivers could be structurally unemployed. Taxi drivers are structurally unemployed because of Uber. Now, one could argue they easily transition to Uber, but the taxi industry is going away. So we call these natural, and these combined are the natural rate of unemployment. So changes in these, which can happen, change the natural rate of unemployment, but in general, the natural rate of unemployment, we will say, is around 5%. Okay. Well, there's the humdinger of a doozy of unemployment, which is cyclical unemployment. And this is massive job loss due to recession or economic downturn. All right, so the Great Depression, the financial crisis of 2008, and then the pandemic that we just had, those resulted in cyclical unemployment. Well, that is problematic, and the government gets involved, the Federal Reserve gets involved with expansionary policy. The President and Congress have stimulus packages, other expansionary measures to fight this. We care very much about this. Of course, the people that are affected by these care about them. I'm just saying the animal spirits, or the invisible hand, as they say, of the market, just the way things go, is an evolving process, and there are victims, okay? Am I afraid of technology taking over my position? Not anymore. Because you know what? You know what I do? I watch kids when they're at school, and we are learning that that is an indispensable resource. So God bless the fact that we make sure you're safe and taken care of for several hours of the day, so people can go out and build airplanes and have restaurants and open businesses, etc. All right, so this is not complicated. It's just the most important one. Cyclical unemployment, anything that's not these two, massive closing of factories, stores, you go to a mall and there's half of the stores are closed, right? That's cyclical unemployment. Now, if an individual store closes because they moved or whatever, that's not cyclical. All right, so in general, anything above 5% is considered cyclical unemployment. And even if it's 1 or 2% above, that's a big deal, right? Now, is it possible to get less than 5%? Absolutely. So it's not always going to be that amount. I see I violation of the 8-minute rule. I just get so excited talking about unemployment. All right, so we've got frictional, structural, and cyclical. There's also seasonal unemployment. I don't want you to worry about that too much. It's taken into account that people that are snow removal people are not going to be able to remove snow in January, which is why a lot of snow removal people become landscapers, become leaf rakers, become snow removal people, okay? People work at ski resorts. That's why sometimes you'll see seasonally adjusted unemployment rates, because certain types of year lead to certain types of unemployment that are expected. And I don't want you to worry about that. Nothing escapes the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. They take everything into account. I just want you to know these two, the national rate of unemployment, it's about 5%. For simplicity's sake, just say it's about half and half, okay? Although I would say probably structural is maybe a little bit bigger at this time. But cyclical is the humdinger of a doozy of unemployment, which the government needs to enact expansionary policy to fight. Okay? Unemployment. Let's get it down. Get it down to the natural rate of unemployment.